Hi, everybody with Alterna. This is Donnie Vasey. I'm part of the senior creative team. I thought maybe today I would discuss a little bit of how I became to be with Alterna and made the creative team and things like that. It was probably 7 or 8 years ago. I got to do I became an educator first, and I was doing some PK classes in regional salons, things like that. Now, I do have a very extensive probably experience since I was about 8 years old in the theater. And I've been on stage since, like I said, about 8 years old. I'm very comfortable on stage and just kind of has always come naturally to me, which is kind of funny because outside of being on stage or in the salon, I tend to be a little bit quieter and not talk as much. But there's something that happens when you put me in front of people and I have a job to do. It becomes very easy for me. So it was years ago that I started teaching PK classes for Alterna. And apparently someone liked what they saw and they were getting really good reviews on my classes because next thing you know, I got to do a couple hair shows. And initially, I was just doing stuff backstage. And next thing you know, there were a couple people there at the show in Pittsburgh that even the artist at the time was a little surprised that some of the corporate people were there. Well, it turns out they wanted to see me on stage and how I would do on stage. Now, I did not know that this was coming at all. So when they asked me to get up on stage, I didn't even know any of the Alterna cutting yet at the time. But they just wanted to see how I would be on stage and how I would talk. So they just told me to pick a model and go up and do what I was comfortable with and just talk to the people and say what I knew about Alterna products. So I did that. That went very well. So the next thing you know, I had a few more shows under my belt. Then the big news came. They asked me if I would please go to work with Michael Sean Corby. And my wife Pamela is also on the creative team, and she came and did the show with us. So obviously it was a huge thrill to get to work with Michael Sean. We obviously knew who he was. And thought that this was like a really big deal. So we got to work with Michael Sean. Initially, we thought we were going to be just in the tech booth. We were at a very big show in Providence, Rhode Island. And we thought we'd be in the tech booth. And next thing you know, Michael Sean is handing us mics and asking us to come on stage with him, which was totally amazing and kind of caught us by surprise. But we did that show, which was 3 shows for 2 days straight. So that was 6 times on stage with Michael Sean, which I think obviously we got better and better each time. And we thought everything went very well. So we go home to Pittsburgh and Michael Sean seemed to really like us. But Michael Sean is so nice that I started thinking to myself, he could have hated me on stage and I would have never known because he's just such a nice person. So a few weeks later, I get a phone call in the salon. And I was with a client, so I wasn't going to take the call. But my receptionist said that it was Michael Sean on the phone. So I certainly jumped on the phone, excused myself from my client and jumped on the phone. And Michael Sean said, in his messing with me kind of way, I guess, he said, well, we're just kind of calling people towards the end of the year and letting some of the educators know we won't be able to use them very much anymore. And the demand just isn't there for that many classes. So of course I'm thinking, why is he calling me and saying this? I felt horrible. I thought everything went well in Providence. And then he said, but I wanted to personally call you and inform you that I'm jumping you over the other education levels and I want you on the creative team ASAP. So basically, it was a dream whirlwind of a couple months that I quickly moved up and became on the Alterna creative team. I've been there ever since. And I think one of the main things that has helped me throughout the years is I didn't start doing hair until a little later in life. So those skills still had to develop and still come into my own as a hairstylist, which I feel they have now. But the fact that I've been on stage since I was a little kid, I just think Michael Sean picked up on that and knew that I would be able to hold a crowd and carry myself well in front of people and just kind of make a name for Alterna under myself. Because I think it's important that we all have our own personalities, yet still represent the brand in a very specific way. For a long time, I think so many of our artists were kind of all over the place as to what truly is representative of Alterna. And I think that we're starting to hone that in a little bit, which is so great to create cohesion in a team, yet still let people be individuals, because you can't just brainwash people into everyone being robotic and doing the same thing. But when we can take a group of individuals and make it so that we can all still go towards the same goal and still represent the same ideals, then you just have a great team in the making. So basically, I just wanted to talk today about how I became an Alterna educator and on the Alterna creative team. So I hope you guys liked my video, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.